actually told Rebekah, there's two nations inside your womb, and the older brother will actually serve the younger brother. That's pretty crazy, right? That's how he got his name Jacob, which means hill grabber or deceiver. Names in the Bible have a lot of meaning. So whenever you see a name in the Bible, pay attention because it always foreshadows what's going to happen. Fast forward a couple years.
This is all just make-believe and a lie. Because when you look at the history of civilizations on the planet, the time frame of Esau and the time frame of Esau and Jacob, that this would have happened at a time frame where Egypt already existed, Europe already existed, people in China already existed, people already existed all over the world. So therefore, at that time frame, there was already the existence of people. This is after the Tower of Babel, after Noah's flood. So this is around the 1900 BCE, 1800s BCE is when they're claiming this time frame, at the latest 1700 BCE. But we can look at archaeological evidence and demonstrate that people were already in existence all over the world, that the people that claim to be the descendants of Esau were already in existence as nations of people, and they were already around. And at no point in time did these people ever serve Israelites. Sure, there were wars between who the Israelites claimed that those people came from. But as far as them being the dominant force that enslaved or had vassal states over the Edomites, never happened in history. There's no archaeological proof of that. Therefore, your God lied. They never become the servants of them. And Esau himself never served Jacob. As a matter of fact, Jacob remained fearful of his brother Esau his entire life. Even when Esau forgave him and came to him with open arms and welcomed him back home after he treacherously betrayed him. At no point did any of these things ever happen. And the Bible continues to make that type of statement, and yet is constantly wrong. The Bible says that Noah cursed Canaan and his descendants. He didn't curse Ham, the one who actually caused the bullshit offense to Noah being butt naked drunk in his tent. But he cursed his grandson for his father's activities. But at what time frame? Point out a time in history. Since Canaan are the Canaanites, and since Mizraim is the Egyptians, point out a time in history when the Israelites, the children of Japheth, the children of Shem, conquered and enslaved the Egyptians and the Canaanites. Now, the Egyptians conquered the Canaanites. That happened. Conquered them for over 1,000 years. That part happened until the Bronze Age collapsed. That part happened. But when did they conquer? When did the Israelites conquer Egypt? Never. And some of you are going to run off, oh, they were the Hyksos. No, they weren't. They were never the Hyksos. So when did they conquer? They never conquered them. So this is just another lie by your God, a lie by your book, a book that is not historical, that is not an account of history. It is an account of a people who made up stories to make themselves feel better, who made up stories to try to justify the treachery that they impose on themselves and other people. It is not a book that actually takes account what was going on in society at any given time frame. Sure, during the Bronze Age collapse, you can write these stories because the Egyptian kingdom was in a deficit. The Hittites were coming up. The Amorites were coming up. The Assyrians were coming up. They had yet to establish themselves to the length that they would a few hundred years later. So you can write whatever you want to write. You can create whatever history you desire to create for yourselves. And that's exactly what they did, created their own history. Decided that they were the ones who produced the children of the world. Even though anybody with a pinch of salt of brain could figure out and understand that those people were just lying. The Hittites didn't say we came from the Israelites. The Egyptians never said we came from Mizraim. The Europeans never said that they came from Edom. These are all things that people made up because there were Europeans before there was an Esau. So before there was an Edomite, there were already people in Europe. Before there ever was a Mizraim, there were people already in Egypt. They were already in Punt and Cush. They were already in West Africa. They were already in the Americas. They were already all around the world when his whole story was being written. And yet, only the foolish would believe that everybody came from the children of Noah, and that then other tribes came from Jacob and Esau. These names are not written to say what a person is going to do. These names were written based on a story that was being told about a person. And since hill grabber meant Jacob in their language, they attached that to the story. So these names are attached to a story after the name already has meaning. And by doing that and backdating it, it makes it seem like it was prophesied. But the truth of the matter is, it's not. It's the same way many things are written, that you add something to something that was older so that you can make it seem like it was truth. Just like Vespasian backdated everything that you know about this Jesus character to make it seem like it happened during the time frame of Titus and the time frame of Nero, so that he can make the Piso family, the Flavians, look better than the Julio-Claudians. It's just rewriting history. And to the victor goes the spoils. So always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.